Alright everybody, out in the shop once again tonight. Got a little bit of a lathe project. This is actually the first official project I've done on this lathe. Up till now I've just been kind of cutting test pieces just to see how she reacts to certain cutters and kind of dialing it in more or less. But anyway, what I'm going to be making is I'm going to attempt to make some Tormach TTS style set screw holders for end mills. This one is an actual Tormach tool. It's going to go in my little CNC mill right over here. I've just recently changed over to the Tormach tooling system. You can see I've gotten a lot of my ER20 collet holders. These are all the work for the they work with the TTS tooling system, which is similar to what this is. These are the eBay Chinese version, but it does the same thing essentially for my milling machine. And what I'm running into is, as with most tooling, you need more. So I need more tool holders, and these set screw holders I think are, I don't know, 25 bucks or so from Tormach, which really isn't a bad price, don't get me wrong, but when you need, you know, 20 or 30 of them, it should kind of adds up. So just for shits and giggles, and because I am doing this as a home hobby shop ordeal, I'm going to come out here and make a few. I have no doubt I can make them. It's just a matter of, once I make one, I'll determine, do I want to make, you know, 15 or 20 of these things, that type of thing. So, you know, I can do it. I know I can do it. I just want to see how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be. This ring right here is for the automatic tool changer on the Tormach milling machine, so I won't need that. I can simplify it some if I want to. As long as the OD is, you know, pretty damn good, and the tolerance in here, I'm going to ream it out, of course, for whatever size hole I'm going to put in it. And the major OD is 1.5 inches. You can see this got like a little pocket. This ring right here is what actually hits up against the spindle nose, and that's pretty critical to get it square with this shaft and really flat. So if I can get those measurements down, I should be good to go. But anyway, I'm gonna give it a shot and see how much of a pain in the ass it is. And if nothing else, it'll give me a little bit more experience with this particular lathe that I just got. So I'll do a little video of some turning. Right now, this is just some I think it's 1018 stock I had in the drawer. I'm turning the major OD down to 1.5 inches. I think I've got about, I don't know, 35 thousandths on each side to go. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, stay tuned and we'll see what happens. Thanks. Like I said, this OD is not super critical, as long as I got it close, and you know, within a few thousandths I should be fine. So measuring with calipers, some old Mitsutoyos, I'd say that's within a few thousandths. It's maybe a thousandth or two off. Like I said, it's not a big deal. 1.5 inches is what I was shooting for. Surface finish looks pretty good, and I'm going to call that good. So we got our major OD down, and next up will be turning the 3/4 inch size, which is the part that actually fits in the collet of the machine, and that will be pretty darn critical. I'd like to get it within 0.5 thousandths or so, so I'll just kind of crawl my way to it and see if we can make it happen. Stay tuned. Alright, so got a little frustrated doing this tonight, and I kind of forgot to hit the record button a few times. It is what it is. I'll get used to it. Like I said, I'm kind of new at this whole thing, so I'm learning. This is pretty much the finished product. I still have to put it in the mill and drill and tap a hole for the set screw. But this is pretty much it. You can see turned out pretty darn good. The only boo-boo I had was this gouge right here. I actually did that when I was setting. I used a grooving tool that I had a ground tool that I used for internal grooving, and I used it for that recessed pocket in here, and I accidentally ran it into that when I was setting the tool up. So my bad. It's not a big deal. I just smoothed it out. The shaft is still good. There's plenty of room on it for it to chuck on the collet. So I made this one for a 3/8 end mill, and I have a 0.3755, so it's a 1/2 thousandths over reamer, chucking reamer that I used. So I went in, I drilled this hole with a U drill, letter U drill. I think it's 368 thousandths, somewhere around there. So a little bit under, obviously 375, and then I went back behind it with the chucking reamer just really quickly and was able to open it up. But the fit on it turned out really nice. You can see it pull a vacuum. I've got my finger over the hole on the back side. There's no oil or anything on it, it's just... So I'm really happy with that. I think that'll work just fine. I can't feel any play in it, no slop or anything if I try to wiggle it. Oops. And before I break it in mill. Anyway, so yeah, I think that worked out pretty well. It goes all the way through just in case I get a long, you know, or like a double-ended end mill like this one. I can still, you know, have plenty of room for it to go up in the chuck or the collet. But so yeah, I'm overall, I guess I've got, I don't know, probably an hour and 45 minutes. Like I said, most of that was just me setting up the tooling and getting used to the lathe, to be honest. Like I said, it's the first project I've done on it, so I could probably knock these out in an hour. I also had some way oversized stock that I had to turn down. If I had the right size stock, some 1.5" stock as opposed to 2" stock, then this would be a lot quicker. I think I could knock them out in an hour, which, you know, is an hour of my time worth the $25 that I could buy it? No, not really, but that's why like I said, that's why I'm out here doing this stuff. I enjoy it. It's a hobby. I'm not, you know, on the clock. I'm not behind the ball as far as getting parts out the door. So yeah, I can spend an hour or 2 hours making a holder, and a lot of times in the afternoons during the week, I can only get about an hour and a half out here, you know, just because of all the other things we got going on. But so that'll work out. I can kind of do one a night for a little while, and if I get bored with it, I can stop and make them as I needed. So I think I am going to continue. I might just go ahead and order some stock, so I'll have some stuff here, and just make them whenever I want to. But I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. Let me show you. This one is an actual Tormach. It's a 1/2 inch, so the profile's a little bit bigger. I wanted to make this one a little bit smaller in terms of, you know, making it easier to navigate around vices or clamps or whatever on the milling table. But anyway, the general shape of it is the same. I didn't really copy anything other than the critical parts. All this stuff here is just kind of, yeah, it is what it is. Made it look similar, that's about it. So that's that. I'll show you really quickly, if you can bear with the camera shaking for a second. Alright. It goes over here, and this is the, like I said, it has the R8 Tormach or R8 collet, and it only takes like a 1/4 turn, and this thing's tight, but it's got a really nice fit to it. And the way this thing's recessed, it actually ends up sitting on the spindle nose itself so that your Z heights